Imagine a divine council so vast and powerful that it shaped the fate of gods, humans, and the world itself. A realm where each deity held unique powers, rivalries, and responsibilities. This was the world of the Anunnaki Pantheon, the legendary assembly of gods that ruled over the heavens, the earth, and the underworld in ancient Mesopotamian belief. But who exactly were these gods? How did they interact? And what role did they play in humanity's story? Today, we're going deep into the hierarchy, the personalities, and the mysterious connections between these deities and the Anunnaki Pantheon explained. Let's begin our journey into one of history's most intriguing divine lineups. In ancient Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian myths, the Anunnaki were considered a group of high-ranking deities, not just isolated gods, but an entire assembly that functioned almost like a royal court. This was not a loose gathering, but a structured, often politically charged council of supernatural beings. They were thought to be the offspring of the sky god Anu and the earth goddess Ki, though later interpretations expanded their origins and roles. At the top of the pantheon was Anu, the Sky Father. He was not always the most actively involved in daily events, but his authority was supreme. Anu represented ultimate power and kingship over gods and humans. When great decisions were made, whether to create, destroy, or judge, his approval was essential. His role can be compared to a distant yet absolute monarch. Then came Enlil, one of the most powerful and sometimes controversial gods in the pantheon. Enlil was the god of wind, air, and storms. He was both a creator and a destroyer, credited with shaping civilization, but also infamous for catastrophic decisions, such as the Great Flood intended to wipe out humanity. Enlil's authority over earth affairs was second only to Anu's, making him a central figure in many myths of power and control. Balancing Enlil's influence was Enki, the god of water, wisdom, magic, and creation. Known for his cleverness and compassion, Enki often acted as a protector of humankind. In the flood myth, it was Enki who secretly warned humans to build an ark, preserving life against Enlil's wrath. If Enlil was the strict ruler, Enki was the wise counselor who saw value in cooperation rather than destruction. The rivalry and balance between Enlil and Enki created much of the narrative tension in Mesopotamian myths. The pantheon also included Ninhursag, the earth and fertility goddess. She was regarded as the mother of all living beings, a nurturer who shaped humanity from clay in some myths. Ninhursag's role was vital in the balance of creation, ensuring the continuation of life and the stability of the natural world. Without her, the work of the other gods would be incomplete. Then there was Inanna, later known to the Akkadians as Ishtar, the goddess of love, beauty, war, and political power. Inanna was one of the most complex and celebrated deities in the pantheon. Her myths include daring journeys to the underworld, passionate love affairs, and ruthless acts in war. She represented the duality of creation and destruction, embodying both nurturing love and fierce vengeance. Among the underworld deities was Ereshkigal, queen of the dead and sister of Inanna. Ereshkigal ruled the realm of the deceased with absolute authority, a realm that even gods feared to enter. Her myth involving Inanna's descent into the underworld reveals deep themes of power struggles, mortality, and rebirth. Another important figure was Utu, known later as Shamash, the god of the sun and justice. Utu was seen as the all-seeing eye, bringing light to the world and fairness to the affairs of gods and humans alike. His role extended into guiding the dead and ensuring that justice prevailed in both divine and mortal realms. The Anunnaki Pantheon was not just a list of gods, it was a dynamic network of relationships, alliances, and rivalries. These gods were deeply human in their emotions, ambitions, and conflicts. They could be compassionate one moment and destructive the next, reflecting the unpredictable nature of life itself. Ancient texts often depict the Anunnaki gathering to deliberate over the fate of the world. They were not always united. Disputes could arise, especially between figures like Enlil and Enki, whose philosophies on dealing with humanity were drastically different. Yet, this diversity of thought and action made the pantheon a complete system, balancing creation with destruction, order with chaos. Interestingly, the term Anunnaki evolved over time. In the earliest Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki referred to a broad group of gods connected to the heavens and earth. In later Babylonian and Assyrian beliefs, the Anunnaki were sometimes associated with the underworld. distinct from the Ajiji, a group of younger gods who often served the higher deities. This shift in meaning shows how fluid and adaptable Mesopotamian religious beliefs were. Responding to cultural and political changes, the influence of the Anunnaki Pantheon extended far beyond Mesopotamia. Their myths inspired elements in later cultures, influencing Canaanite, Hittite, and even Greek mythology. For example, the idea of a divine council, the flood narrative, and the descent to the underworld all have parallels in other traditions. This cross-cultural influence is one of the reasons the Anunnaki still capture imaginations today. Some modern interpretations, especially in fringe theories, have reimagined the Anunnaki as extraterrestrial beings who came to Earth in ancient times, shaping early human civilizations. While there is no historical evidence to support these claims, the persistence of such ideas highlights the enduring mystery and allure of the Anunnaki. Their complex personalities and grand cosmic roles make them perfect subjects for speculation and reinterpretation. For the ancient people who worshipped them, the Anunnaki were not distant abstractions. They were living forces that influenced every aspect of existence, from the fertility of crops to the justice in courts. From the outcome of battles to the fate of souls in the afterlife, the gods were present and powerful. Temples dedicated to these deities served as centers of religious, economic, and political life, showing just how deeply intertwined the pantheon was with society. Understanding the Anunnaki Pantheon is like piecing together an ancient puzzle. Each god represents a different piece of the human condition: power, wisdom, love, justice, fertility, and death. Together, they formed a complete worldview that explained the mysteries of life and the cosmos to the people of ancient Mesopotamia. Their stories have survived thousands of years, passed down through cuneiform tablets, inscriptions, and oral tradition. Even today, as we read these myths, we can sense the awe and reverence that ancient people felt for these divine figures. Whether you see them as literal gods, symbolic archetypes, or fascinating mythological creations, the Anunnaki Pantheon remains one of history's most captivating spiritual legacies. And this is just the beginning of our exploration. In our next video, we'll journey further back into the origins of these deities and the birth of the Anunnaki in ancient texts, uncovering how they emerged from the earliest stories and what those origins reveal about humanity as first attempts to understand the divine.